So cheers for having me on for this opposition match preview, Leicester City versus Leeds United. And this is an interesting one really. We're coming off the back of a really frustrating draw at Goodison Park. We dominated the game for 90 minutes, but only managed to get a 1-1 draw. Everton parked the bus completely. If they parked the bus any further, we would have finished the game at the King Power. And that's not a dig at Everton. They're playing to their strengths, and Carlo Ancelotti's really getting the best out of the team that he's got there. And when you look at their league position, you can't really argue with it, but it was just a very frustrating. We just could not get the 3 points that I thought our performance deserved. But anyway, in terms of this game, I think this is going to be the polar opposite of that. I think that you guys are going to attack us. Hopefully we're going to attack you, and it's going to be a bit of an end-to-end game and really an enjoyable game to watch. But in terms of Leeds this season, I've been really impressed with the way that you've played football. Obviously we knew that you weren't going to come into the Premier League and change your philosophy. Stuck to the way that you played in the Championship, and that's no surprise with Marcelo Bielsa. He always plays the same way, and yes, at times that's meant that you have got hammerings, and that just sort of comes with the territory of playing one way whatever the game is. So you get what you signed up for with Marcelo Bielsa. You're going to play some beautiful, attractive footballs, but there's going to be times like when we played you earlier on in the season where we beat you 4-1. Obviously you got slapped at Old Trafford as well, which I know that probably hurt you guys a lot more than the Leicester one, but it's one of those, it just comes with the territory of playing the football that you play. But you do play some really good stuff, scoring some really nice goals, and you're getting yourself some decent results. Currently sat 12th in the Premier League, which I know I've seen a few Leeds fans who aren't particularly happy with that, who want to be pushing further up, but in my opinion that's a really solid first season back up. Obviously when we got our first season back up, we were in 20th most of the season and only just scraped surviving. So I think for me anyway, personally, the main thing this season is staying up and then building on it next year, which you're really comfortable in the fact that you will stay up, which I think is the main thing. We can get at least a draw on Sunday. That puts us on magic 40 points, which means that we will be staying up. But in all seriousness, the fact that we're so early into the season and we could be getting 40 points, which is what Ranieri targeted when he came in to say that that'll be what we stay up with, it just shows how far over the last 5 years we've come as a club, and it's been an absolutely incredible journey. And with the owners that we've got at the moment, it feels like it's only the start. But in terms of the actual game, so our home form, it's not been the best, I'm going to be honest, but it's slowly turning around. We haven't lost at home in quite a while now, and we've played some decent sides at home. We played United on Boxing Day, we drew 2-2. We turned Chelsea over 2-0, but there's still this part of me that worries at home that we give away some stupid results. So I'm hoping that we've turned a corner, but I just can never be that sure with some of the results we have had at the King Power this year. Obviously losing to Fulham, losing to Villa, losing to West Ham, who are actually a really solid team this year, but the way that we lost to West Ham, it's just, I don't know what it is. We seem to be better on, well, we don't seem to be, we are better on the road this year. We've only lost one game, and that was at Anfield. So I don't know why that is or what that is, but hopefully we can turn the King Power back into a fortress, because once you have that sort of stability of your home ground, you can really build on it, and it can be your foundations for the season. So, and if we're going to push for top 6 or even more this year, then I think we need to have that. We need to have that stability of having good form at home. But anyway, in terms of my starting 11 that I've predicted that Brendan Rodgers will go with. With this starting 11, there's no Ndidi, which is an absolutely huge miss for us. He got injured against Everton, but fortunately it's only a sort of 1 week injury. It looked like it could have been a lot worse. And he's one of those players, yes, he doesn't get the headlines, but he's as important as anyone is to this team. So I'm glad that it's not a long-term injury. And then obviously the big one, the one that you probably have read about already, Jamie Vardy out for this game. And I can imagine that's probably made a few Leeds fans quite happy, because the way that you play, he's probably the worst player to come up against. And it's not just his pacing behind, it's just the space that he creates for other players. So he's a huge miss for us, and I can imagine there's quite a few Leeds fans' faces with smiles on with me saying that. But anyway, let's get into the starting 11 that I've predicted that we'll go with. So we're going to go with a 4-2-3-1. This is sort of our set formation that we've been playing since we've had a lot of our key players back. So in goal and captain, obviously your old boy Kasper Schmeichel, and then as we get into the back four, Castagne, Castagne, Fofana, Evans and James Justin. So Castagne and James Justin, they'll be playing as attacking wing backs, getting right forward, creating chances, using the width, and they'll really be supporting the men going forward. And then Fofana, who's been absolutely brilliant since we've signed him. He had an uncharacteristic mistake against Everton which led to their goal, but apart from that he's been absolutely brilliant. And then we've got Johnny Evans, and his importance to this team is so underrated. Like, he's not the big flashy names, but the fact he's so experienced, he's a leader at the back, and when I've said that back four, there's a lot of young players in there. So to have someone like Johnny Evans on the pitch who's still an absolutely top class defender, but also his leadership, his experience is absolutely crucial within the young squad that we've got. But then as we get into the two holding midfielders, so we're going to have Mendy coming in for Ndidi, and Mendy did well when Ndidi got injured before, but he's no Ndidi. I'll argue with anyone that Ndidi is the best defensive midfielder in the league in terms of winning the ball back. So of course we're going to miss him, but Mendy, he did a solid job last time he was called upon. Hopefully he can again today. And then alongside him, Yuri Tielemans, who's more of a deep line playmaker, box-to-box midfielder with that licence to get forward, but he's been absolutely on fire recently. And then the right midfielder is going to be Mark Albrighton, and again, not the most fashionable name in the world, but you know what you're going to get with Mark Albrighton, 110% work rate, and he's going to get forward, putting balls into the box, which against Everton it sort of wasn't effective because they had everyone parked inside their box. But I think with you guys, the ability to put a ball into the box, it could cause you a few more problems than it did against Everton. He'll help out Castagne going backwards, he'll get forward, and when he plays this season, our record has been a lot better. We win a lot more games when he does play than when he doesn't, and the fact that he's had now 3 managers who didn't fancy him to start with, and he's managed to work his way back into the squad, it says a lot about him, about his work rate and sort of what he actually offers to this team. And then in the number 10 position, our man in form, the man who's really stepped up in Vardy's injury, James Maddison. He's got to be knocking on the door for another England call-up at some point, surely. I know it obviously helps if you play for a big club, which unfortunately we're not. But against you guys, we need to get him on the ball as much as possible, causing problems, dropping into those pockets of space. Really hard to track, and he's a really key player to the way that we're playing at the moment, particularly without Vardy. He's become one of our main men. He already was, but obviously stepped up even more with the absence of Jamie Vardy. And then on the left wing, we've got Harvey Barnes, and he's been absolutely brilliant this season. He's come on massively. His end product's improving, on the ball is improving. It's just that final decision making at times, you see it, but he's a young lad, he's improving massively. Again, another one knocking on the door of the England squad, and I think he's a player that can cause you guys real problems. His direct running, his pace, his willingness to take on a player, so he's going to be a player that I really do think can cause you a lot of problems. And the striker, obviously not Jamie Vardy, unfortunately for Leicester anyway. You guys are probably buzzing about that, but it's going to be Ayoze Perez. And Ayoze Perez's best work against Everton really came off the ball, closing it down, because he struggled a lot on the ball, but the one thing you can never say about Ayoze Perez is he doesn't give 110%. But I do think this game will suit him more because he's more of a false 9 really than a out-and-out striker. He likes to drop deep, get on the ball and make things happen. I'm hoping he can get himself a goal or just really have a positive game, because it will do his confidence a world of good, because in terms of confidence he is struggling slightly at the moment. So a good performance for Ayoze Perez could be absolutely huge for us, particularly with Vardy looking like he might be out until the Wolves game, which is what, 2 games away for us. So you need Perez, if he is going to be leading the line, to be playing with confidence, and at the moment it doesn't look like he is. So that is my predicted starting 11, but let's get into my score prediction, and I've gone with a 3-1 Leicester. I am confident at the moment. We're playing very well, but I do think you guys will give us a tough game. But anyway, thank you mate for having me on. I really do appreciate it, and I wish you guys the best of luck for the rest of the season after tomorrow. I'm not going to wish you luck for tomorrow, but after that I wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully you can have a good finish to the season.